Oh my God. What's up, Cowboy Nation? Cowboy Headquarters at America Team. This your guy G, the number one Cowboy fan, Hampton, coming to you live and direct with some Mo news. That's right, Mo news that you can use, MO news that you can use. And here we are, Saturday sit down, straight barbershop talk with your guy G, number one Cowboy fan, Hampton. Give it up. Yeah, I got to do this, man. I got to do this. I know it's early Saturday morning, but I'm going to do this real quick. Technical difficulties. God Almighty, any content creator can tell you what it takes to get set up to do a recording or a live stream. And for whatever reason, I was just recording a few minutes ago, man, and I'm just talking blah 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 blah. I got about to almost 2 minutes into the show. Come to find out, I'm buffering. Wait a minute. Yeah, so this is just part of the stuff that goes on in the background, when you're trying to bring news that you can use to the Cowboys fan base. But here we are on Saturday morning, the 13th of December. We're getting closer to Christmas time. Tis the season to be jolly. Give it up. Oh, yeah, you see the title. Trevon Diggs, a Pro Bowler. That's what I'm saying. Okay, my phone is doing some stuff. We're going to get through this today, but give it up for Trevon Diggs and basically the possibility of him being able to return. And I know some of you guys will say, "Oh, Trevon Diggs, man, that guy, he's a loser." And we all have our own opinion about the players on this team, about the coaches on this team, about the owners of this team, the general manager. So one thing was so authentic about this show, because of what we do, we just voice our opinion. Okay, we're voicing our opinion about our Cowboys because number one, we are Cowboy fans first, and we come together in the Cowboy Huddle and we talk Cowboys talk. And here we are today. I'm just bringing some news that you can use today about Trevon Diggs and where he stands right now and how did we get here. So I'm not going to keep you here long, but happy Saturday, everybody. Got some things going on today, so I'm not going to keep you here long. But let's get into this. So it's been reported. We got to definitely talk about this. So it's been reported that it's possibility that Trevon Diggs is ready to make his return. This was reported by CBS Sport. Make his return on Sunday Night Football. So he actually spoke to the media for the first time. That's what was reported. He said he spoke to the media for the first time in weeks. And the 2021 NFL interception leader said he is ready to play and expect to play on Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. Dallas officially listed Diggs as questionable to play Sunday after being limited to practice all week. Now, he also said, I'm ready, though. Diggs said, I think our intensity level to make this playoff push and play for each other led to a great week of practice. I feel really healthy. I feel really healthy this time around. So I'm just going to go out there and give it 100% that I can, and we'll see what happens. So here's what happened. Dallas ruled Diggs out on Friday before week 7 against the Commanders after the cornerback suffered a concussion in an accident at his home. When Diggs was in concussion protocol, the Cowboys placed him on injury reserve because of his knee being re-aggravated, and he hasn't played since, missing the last 7 games. So what Dallas has done, guys, the team has opened Diggs a 21-day practice window to work on his way back to a return from injury reserve on November 30th. And he has until December 20th at 4 p.m., the day before the Cowboys' Week 16 home finale against the Chargers, to be activated. Otherwise, Diggs will remain on IR and not return to play this season. So that's the latest on Trevon Diggs. Now, when we talk about Trevon Diggs, we got to get into the how did we get here? How did we get here with Trevon Diggs and what has been going on with Trevon Diggs? But Again, we know that, he went down with the knee injury on last year, and he had some situation which was a setback, basically with an ACL, another ACL tear. And I know we've been pretty harsh about CD. I mean, not CD. I'm talking about. I mean, Trayvon. We've been pretty harsh on Trayvon, but again, we're looking at the time span that has taken place from the time that it happened up to the present day, and why has it been such a struggle to get Trayvon back on the field? Now, there are some things that I have done some research on, and I've spoke about in the past about why we are here with Trayvon Diggs. Now, this is just my speculation. You can look more into it, but you have to remember when Diggs went down with his ACL, you have to remember that Diggs uh, wanted to do his own workout. Why he wanted to do his own workout, I have no idea, but evidently he trusted the individual that he was going to work out with. So, with that being said, let's talk about his workout. So, what had happened was Diggs missed the whole season due to a uh, the injury. But it's also been told by him working out on his own, he worked out with his own personal trainer, Ja'Cory Nichols. Now Corey Nichols is known as a big time trainer, someone that was going to get Trayvon back to where he needed to be. Uh, so, and they called this guy Ja'Cory, one of the best DB coaches across the league, and he was responsible for working Trayvon Diggs out. But also, I think this is where the problem had started with Trayvon Diggs, because now when we talk about that, we have to also consider his contract. His contract. And what did his contract say? So I think the Cowboys, the organization, had a problem with him working out with Ja'Cory. But Trayvon felt that this was the route for him to go to get back on pace, to get back to on the field the quickest and the fastest way. Well, I think the Cowboys said, I beg to differ. You are up under our contract, and this is the protocol that's been written for you to do the work. Now, who's right and who's wrong? Now, we've also heard Brian Schottenheimer say that, hey, we have to see consistency. We have to see him do the things the right way. And what does that mean when we say we got to see him do the things in the right way? He has to be consistent. Well, personally, my speculation is because of the way he did things uh, outside of the contract, is they are holding him accountable. Even though you did what you did on your own, we still have to see you perform under our guidelines and our training methods to get back on the field. That's basically all I can see what happened. Now, when we talk about that, it has been a setback for Trayvon. It has been a problem for the team, and it has been a problem for the organization and Trayvon himself. But now, when we go to hold somebody responsible, we can say Trayvon Diggs is responsible for going this route to get back on the field to work out with Ja'Cory, which Ja'Cory is a hell of a DB trainer. But I think it's a little bit bigger than just Trayvon and the trainer himself. This falls back on his agent, okay? Because when a contract is signed, it is not only for the player to read his contract, but it's also uh, for his agent to break down the contract and read page for page what the do's and don'ts and what he will receive and all the accolades and all the things that comes in this contract. Now, personally, I think the agent dropped the ball because if the Cowboys are asking him, "Hey, you still have to go by our training methods in order to get back on the field," and I'm probably about 85% sure this is the reason why they're prolonging Diggs to get on the field. But when we talk about this agency responsibility is to break down a contract. And if there is any literature in this contract to saying that no, this is the guidelines as far as when you're injured, this is the protocol. These are guidelines that you have to follow in order to be cleared to get back on the field. So this, I think, is what hindered Trevon to get from getting back on the field. Again, if we want to blame somebody, we have to more likely we have to blame the agency for not, reading the guidelines and say, "Hey, Trayvon, we can't do this. You have to go by their guidelines. I mean, you can do it, but you still have to go by the Cowboys guidelines." So this is what has caused a setback. Now, and a lot of times, not a lot of times, but there's a lot of fans out there saying, "Man, he's a bust. He washed up." But you guys got to remember, man, this guy, and back in 2021, and I understand we could say what we want to say about Trayvon, but there was a time that he stood out. He was a second round pick from Alabama, and basically we brought him in to do a job, and he did that job back in 2021. So basically, the key stats for Trayvon is he had 11 interceptions in 20, which he led the NFL. We see sometimes we forget about that. He also played 16 games. He passes defended 21, led the team in pass defended, and then he had 2 defensive touchdowns. And yeah, I know we're probably saying, "Yeah, well, that was back then." Well, we all have our ups and downs. But we also have to consider the fact that this Cowboys team has had 4 different defensive coordinators within the last 4 years. Look at Duran Bland. Duran Bland is not playing. He was one that was a standout at one time with all the interceptions he came out with. Now we're bashing him. So we have to really consider what this defense is up against, trying to learn a new defense. Yeah, and then true enough, I did label um, this show, Trayvon Diggs, a Pro Bowler because he is a Pro Bowler. And he was a Pro Bowler until he got his last injury or received his last injury with the ACL tear. But yeah, we can look at Deron Bland. We can look at everybody on the defense. They're not playing like they once played simply because you have to learn a new system. So I'm going to continue to back bag back Trayvon Diggs, 'cause once he gets back on the field, I think he'll be a big addition to this defense. Because when we look out there right now, there's not a standout cornerback out there right now. There's not. So basically, I'm going to continue to back Trayvon Diggs and as far as his comeback on this team, and let's see what happens as we move forward to Sunday night game against Minnesota. Now, excuse me. There's about 5 things we can talk about with this game coming up on Friday. Hold on a second. All right. There's about 5 things we can talk about when we talk about this upcoming game against the Vikings. And some of us are saying basically it should be a problem. We should beat these guys. No, not so fast. And we got to remember, Minnesota brings something to the table. Minnesota's not just going to lay down and allow us to just run over. We're not for sure, and I don't think that CD Lamb would be part of the team on Sunday night due to the concussion protocol. But here are some things that we must look at, and this was reported also by SB Nation. They had 5 things that they think that should happen, and we have to watch out for. Number one, the Cowboys have to start out fast. We have to, and I'm just going to give my excuse me. I'm gonna give my thoughts about when we talk about starting fast, because it's definitely something that needs to happen. We have to start fast. We have to move the ball. We have to call great plays. We have to get George Pickens in a position to where he can free himself up from the brackets, the double teams, the shell. Okay, we have to. In order to do that, this is this actually contributes to a fast start. Being able to give George Pickens different running routes and being creative, moving George Pickens around. And that's something we need to look at. Number two, they're talking about can't let JJ be the dynamite. Yeah, we have to put pressure on that. JJ, JJ McCarthy, that's the quarterback. His best game was against Commanders, where they beat the Commanders 30-0, which Jaden Daniels went down for whatever reason. That was crazy that they put Jaden Daniels back in the game, and I think he re-injured that same arm. Bless his heart. I hate to hear that. But we can't allow JJ to be dynamite against our defense. And only way he could be dynamite is we got to consider the run game. When we're talking about the run game, we're talking about Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones definitely always seems to have a great game against us. He always seemed to have a great game against us. So this is something that we have to definitely have to consider. Now, when we talk about this run game, let's go back to what we saw against the Detroit Lions. 4 rushing touchdowns. 4. Do you not think that Vikings are going to try to imitate the same exact scheme or play calling that the Detroit Lions call? I'm sure they will. So we have to be aware of the attack of the clones. When we're talking about clones, these are clones of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to come at us with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. It's just that's what's going to happen. So this is the one that we have to also they're coming out the DAC. They will be coming out the DAC, and when I say they're coming out the DAC, they're going to probably come with the same type of method, same type of scheme that the Detroit Lions came with. And if we do not give these tackles some help, we could probably see another 5-sack game. Wait a minute. Yeah, we probably could see another 5-sack game if we do not get these tackles some type of protection. And how do you do that? You have to chip with a running back. You have to chip with 2 tight ends, or you got to double team these defensive end. But they're definitely going to be coming after that. But what we have to do also is talking about. It also mentioned just do the basics. And what are the basics? And I continue to say this over and over again. The basics are move the chain, play ahead of the change. We don't need to be at 2nd and 15. We don't need to be 3rd and 21. We need to be 2nd and 3, 3rd and 1, things like that. That's how you play ahead of the change. The basic things, great play calling. You have to be creative on this offensive side of the ball. We have to be creative. We have to get Ryan Flanoa back activated and get him involved in the offense, along with Jake Ferguson. When I'm not sure if Jake Ferguson is going to be available. I've heard something about him probably being questionable for the game for Sunday night. Not sure. But again, this starts with the coaches. And this is something that we're going to have to see if it actually happened. If the coaches take what happened to them on last week and make adjustments to be better than they were last week. Let's see if they did any scouting against the Minnesota Vikings. Let's see what their preparations looks like. And let's see what the execution look like. I can continue to say this over and over again, but this is exactly what we are faced with on a regular basis. The coaching has to make certain changes. Now, what I will be watching is how Coach Shoddy, call his plays. Because the problem has always been while Coach Shoddy is calling plays, no one's managing the game. He's going to have to be able to call plays and manage the game at the same time. Also, on this defensive side of the ball, are we going to load the box again and try to stop the run, or will we see the same basic defense that we saw on last week? So Not necessarily am I looking at the players for Sunday night, but I'm looking at the coaching and the creativity that they bring to the game and the adjustments that they make. Not only that, but our special teams have to be a lot better. I need Cavante Turpins to not only just catch the ball and fair catch, I need you to catch the ball and get the ball at least to the 50. Again, the method, the philosophy of the game is to stay in their territory and to keep them in their territory. Like I mentioned before, we have to score. We have to score. We have to score. But I would rather score from 50 yards than 99 yards. I would rather score from 40 yards, 30 yards. But let's play on the other side of the 50 and to make it easy on our offense. But this is where our special team coaches has to come in and have to be creative to get that ball past the 50 or at least to the 50. So that's where we are, guys. Just wanted to share that. Again, Trevon Diggs is a Pro Bowler. I don't care what nobody says. Just my opinion. So I think it'll be a great addition to have Trevon Diggs back with this defense. But again, it all falls back on Matt Eberflus on how aggressive he is or how conservative he is. So all we have now is to wait. I guess a lot of us got our fingers crossed, hoping this team loses, this team wins, we win, and maybe we'll make the postseason. But again, like I said, if we can't do it ourselves, I don't want to have to rely on somebody else to help me get to the postseason. So just my thoughts, the way I think about how we should get to the postseason. But again, thank you guys for stopping through and hanging out with me. But that's the latest news that you can use. Do me a favor, make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button, also share this video, and also hit the subscription button. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscription button. Again, nothing that we report is for clickbait. This is just news that you can use, and we sharing with the rest of the Cowboy fan base. Like I always say, continue to stay safe, continue to be blessed. If you don't do anything else, continue to be kind.